You are listening to Balloon Killers. I'm your host, Chrissy Riley, and each episode I'll be talking to someone from the world of cowboy mounted shooting, which is one of the most exciting and fastest growing equestrian sports. Hold on to your hats because it's going to get Western. Hi everyone, I hope that you're all doing well on this fine January day. I'm actually in a different location today. I am just outside of Syracuse, New York, so I went from snow to even more snow. And I'm here to take care of a friend who had surgery today and to take care of her puppy too. I'm shooting this Saturday in Colorado and it's my first shoot as a level 2, but quite honestly, I'm really nervous. Not so much because I'm now a level 2, but mostly because the weather has stopped me from being able to ride for the past couple of weeks. We've got this thick layer of ice on the arena and then a few inches of snow on top of that, so it's just too slippery and dangerous to do anything. I have been doing a lot of the indoor January challenge things like dry firing and visualizing runs and watching and analyzing videos, but it's really not the same as getting out there and doing it on horseback, and I'm someone who really likes to feel prepared, so this feels a little bit too much like winging it, so wish me luck. My horses have probably turned feral by now as well. This past couple of weeks, I've been visiting the stock show. I love January in Denver for the stock show. I was really sad that there wasn't any shooting there this year because that was one of my favorite things about last year, but I did get to enjoy a few rodeos, and there's a couple of nights at the stock show called the Dancing Horses, and I don't cry at much, but I'm one of those people who gets really blubbery and sort of teary-eyed at how beautiful it is to see the partnership of horse and rider and then the live string quartet, and I love seeing the Liberty work particularly. My guest for this episode is the co-owner of Travis Quarter Horses, located in Creston, Iowa. Jamie Travis is a current member of the CMSA Futurity Derby Board, serving as the Stallion Incentive Director for 2025. He was the 2015 and 2020 Iowa High Point Cowboy, the 2018 and 2021 Iowa State Shoot Open winner, the 2016 Lazy E Classic Men's 4 winner, the 2022 Eastern Championship Men's 5 winner, the 2022 and 2024 Iowa CMSA All-Around Cowboy, the 2022 and 2023 Iowa High Point Rifle winner, and the 2024 Iowa High Point Shotgun winner. So without further ado, let's hear from Jamie Travis. So I'm going to get straight into it. We just started a new year. How was the last shooting year for you? What were some of your successes and challenges?
You know, it was such a great year. We had so much fun throughout the year, and as we ended the year at the banquet, I just thought, my goodness, how can things get any better? You know, just all my family and friends, and was able to accomplish a few things there at the end of the year and throughout the year. I was just absolutely thrilled the way 2024 turned out.
Did you have any big wins, or did you have wins with your horses that were just successes?
Sure, yeah. You know, we started the spring. In the spring, I went to Wisconsin and was fortunate enough. I was riding my daughter's horse at the time. My horse that I typically ride is our herd stallion, or one of our herd stallions, and so I was on her horse, and she helped me to win the Iowa, Illinois, Wisconsin Border Wars as the overall champion. So I was able to pick up my 5th win as a 5 there at that shoot.
Nice.
Pretty exciting, and so yeah, that was a highlight to start the year off. And then as the year ended, I ended up as the Iowa High Point shotgun champion, and then we keep track of points for what we call the overall cowboy, which is rifle, shotgun, pistol, and cavalry. And I was able to somehow pull out a win for that within our club too. So I won that buckle, which was really cool. And then we also keep track of how many times you shoot clean within our club. And my dad and I battle back and forth for the most clean shoots we have for years, and we're actually we both got our 40 times clean shooter buckle, which was really an accomplishment. But it's really fun to battle back and forth and give my dad a hard time. And of course, I think he's one ahead of me now, and he doesn't let me forget that.
Well, congratulations. That really does sound like quite a year. And I'm taking note of all of these ideas that you're throwing out that we could do with our club because some of
Oh
those
yeah,
things sound great.
yeah, it is. It's a lot of fun. We have a tremendous secretary in our club, JC Ball, and she keeps track of all of that. And I don't know how she does it, but she puts out a spreadsheet as we're getting closer to awards time, so you know where you stand, and it's really exciting to see people get those, even their first. It's every 10, so your 10 shooter clean buckle. People are really striving to get that, if they know they're close.
It sounds like you have been shooting for quite a while. So tell us about how you got into mounted shooting.
Sure. So I was really fortunate to grow up in a family that really had a love for horses, and it spanned several generations, starting with my grandfather. And he was such a great man that it was so much fun when he'd say, "You want to saddle your horse and come help me?" And so we'd jump on the horses. But during the farm crisis of the 80s, where our family struggled financially, probably more than what I saw as a kid.
Mhm.
Dad didn't have a lot, we didn't have a lot of material possessions, but he always made sure we were mounted on good quality quarter horses. And we'd travel around to local fun shows, and we'd usually win enough at these jackpots that we could pay our entry fees and have a pizza supper on the way home. And it was just some of the best times of my life, even though there wasn't a lot of material things. We still had those good horses, and that was really fun. Now, we're as my kids started to get a little older. I shouldn't say now, but looking back, my kids started to get a little older, and so we started doing some barrel racing with the National Barrel Horse Association. And we did that for a while and enjoyed that. And then we were doing that with my sister too. And then when she decided that she was going to have a family, Dad was kind of, he rides every day. So he said,
Mhm.
I got to find something else to do with my horse. And so a friend of his invited him to come to a cowboy mounted shoot. And so he started with my son Tristan. I think he was just 13 at the time. But those two have the lowest numbers in their family because they started there back in 2013. And we saw them having fun, and we went and actually watched. My brothers and I went and watched an event that they were at, and we looked at each other and said, "This looks like really a lot of fun. Why don't we do this?" And so the next year we got started. We went to a shoot in Nebraska. Was our first shoot as a family, and we just absolutely had a ball. I think the funnest thing was just seeing how the family could get involved, and we do a lot of things as a family. We move cattle together. We go to these fun shows. We do 4-H things as club leaders and stuff. And so it was kind of the pedal to the metal after that. After we went to that first shoot, and we've never looked back, I guess.
I love that about shooting. I love seeing all of the families, parents and kids all competing, going away for a few days over the weekend and having a really fun weekend together. So I love that. And maybe that's part of your answer to this question, but what is it that you love about the sport?
I'm going to sound like a broken record here, but it is the people that are the best part of the sport. I have so many close relationships and true friendships that I think will last a lifetime because of the 10 years that I've competed in the sport. And I really give a lot of that credit to CMSA, and they foster that with the environment that they provide. It's competitive, but it's not like some of the other equine disciplines where it's competitive, but kind of if someone would undercut you or do something to harm you just to win. It's not that
Mhm.
way in cowboy mounted shooting. We have the class level system that I think supports that. But it's so cool to see a level one shooter come in, and everybody's so excited for them to get started, and they can loan them guns and loan them a horse or whatever they need. It's just a very unselfish environment. And I think that's what makes it so great because people thrive in that kind of thing. And CMSA really helps to foster that, I think.
Yeah, I agree. And I really felt that community spirit this past weekend because I'm going to brag on myself for a second. I moved up to level 2 this
Hey,
past weekend.
congratulations.
It
That's
was a
great.
long time coming, but as I did my move up dance, to hear everybody just cheering
Yeah.
me on and celebrating, and to see people smiling so broadly because they knew I wanted it so badly and they wanted it for me so badly. I just really felt that community spirit this past weekend, and it reminded me of how lucky I am to have found a sport where everyone is so supportive of one another.
Oh, I get chills even hearing about that. Every move up dance I see, I'm just so excited for that person, to see that they finally accomplished that goal. And it's so much fun. So congratulations on your move up and your move up dance. I hope it was a good one.
It was, I did an interpretive dance to honor Dee Chapman after Adam Ross talked about Dee's interpretive dance.
Oh, that's hilarious. I hope somebody videoed that. Uh,
So, as I mentioned, a couple of guests who've been on the podcast have talked about Travis Quarter Horses. Tell us about your role in Travis Quarter Horses
sure.
and about how Travis Quarter Horses got started and your mission and goals. Anything you want to tell us about Travis Quarter Horses?
Well, thank you for that opportunity as well. I'm a third owner in Travis Quarter Horses with my brother, Clint, and my dad, Bruce. My dad and I started it, I think it was in 2009. Well, it was right after my grandfather, Bruce Sr., passed away. We always went on a family trail ride, typically over Labor Day weekend. In fact, as we were kids, I remember this story. It's kind of funny, but we were going to go on our Labor Day trail ride, and we had like 30 horses we had to haul, and we didn't have a trailer that was good enough to haul 5 miles, let alone the 40 or 50 we were going to go. And so we had an old floor trailer that was probably a 70s model that my uncle owned that went behind a semi, and we hauled a chute behind the pick of the trailer, and we got down there and we unloaded 30 horses off of a big semi trailer because it was the only thing that was reliable enough to get us down there. But anyway, back to your question. We were on that trail ride together, my dad and I, and I said, it sure would be fun to start raising the horses that we're going to need for our family in the future. And that's really how it started out. Dad said, there's a ranch down in Kansas has really nice stock and really what we're looking for, all around good using type horse that you can go barrel race, rope, cowboy shoot. We hadn't even got into cowboy shooting yet at that point, but just something that was very well rounded. And we kind of wanted some color. And I know people say you can't ride color, but you can sell it. I've been told by people, and it's the truth. Everybody likes to have something a little bit different. So we bought 3 broodmares at the time back there in 2000. I think it was shortly after that, 2010 maybe. And we bought those from the Arnold Ranch in Hutchinson, Kansas, which is, they just still have just a few mares left now. But that was really the backbone of our operation. We bought 3 mares and a stallion. We still have 2 of those mares. One of them is our absolute favorite mare. She's actually 24, I think, maybe somewhere in that area. Yeah, another one's maybe 22. We still sell a few horses out of those, but that's kind of how it all began. And now we're up to about 45 brood mares and 3 stallions, and we're just thrilled that things are going well and people are doing well with our horses. It's so much fun to see people post on Facebook, that they're getting along well, and that's really the why we started out doing that, and kind of goes toward our mission and our goals. We don't really have a stated formal mission at Travis Quarter Horses, but I think Dad and Clint would agree with me that really our mission is provide our family, friends, and future friends with good quality stock that they compete, they can compete well on. But most importantly, they have that mind of a horse that you just can't wait to get back on. Just you can develop that relationship with them, and they do what you want them to do. It's just fun to be around, and that's really was our goal starting out.
And you've had some great success with Travis Quarter Horses. I know the first time I heard about Travis Quarter Horses was actually on a CMSA advert, I think, between runs at maybe Worlds or something like that. And it was a really nice, well-produced video. I think you were all in an arena, and it must be a drone that sort of flies in and
Yeah.
captures you all, but a really beautiful video and really shows your success. But tell us about that success. To what or to whom do you attribute the success?
Well, thank you. And yeah, mentioning the video, and I kind of glossed over. I was going to mention that earlier, but a good friend of ours here in Creston, Dustin Baird, we hired him to prepare that video for us after talking to JD Graham, and thinking that maybe we really, to take our program to the next level, we needed to get more involved with CMSA. And so JD was really gracious to allow us to come in as a sponsor to provide that when CMSA goes to break the lives per stream. And also, as part of that too, this past summer, we were able to participate in a Iowa Public Television segment based on the state fair shoot that we kind of head up every year. And it really goes and talks through the history of where we came from my grandfather at age 11 getting his first horse. And every time I watch that video too, I just have tears in my eyes because I think, wow, how fortunate are we? And when you speak of, the success that we have had, first and foremost, it's just the fact that God has blessed our family. Our family are all Christians, believers, and we feel like that is His blessing upon us. And while we don't know why we deserve that, or why He's doing that for us, He has just continued to bless us. Then furthermore, my dad, if you've ever been around my dad, he's got a great eye for horses. Anybody who listens to this podcast knows what I'm talking about. Without him being the patriarch of our family, we wouldn't have the program that we do today. But getting into you mentioned some success that we've been fortunate enough to have, really kind of started seeing some of that success when Turner Thompson came and bought a horse from us. So 4-year-old, I was planning on riding myself in the futurity. He came and we worked out a program where he could purchase this 4-year-old filly, and he bought her in August. Won a couple courses, or had the fast time on a couple courses. They just really clicked right from the beginning when he came to our shoot in August, and then they left with that horse, took it to Shelbyville in 2022, and won the Open Futurity. So that was a highlight of seeing that happen. It was such a fun day. Then also in the 2024 Futurity, my friend Kane Quam edged out my great friend that's also been on the podcast, Adam Ross. Adam was riding a horse called Goosebomb that he calls Goosebomb, but he ended up reserve champion, and we were so proud of Adam. He put so much work into that horse, and just got edged out. But it was such a fun competition because Kane wanted him to win, he wanted Kane to win. They both competed hard against each other, and Adam really showcased our horse in that event. Just phenomenal. And we're really proud of that. A couple other highlights down there at the Easterns in 2024 to bring up to Joe Caffrey, who I think of like a brother. He came to me one night and said, "Hey man, I'm going to showcase tonight. I got 2 events I'm riding in the horses lane." I had brought down a spare horse. My son Tristan couldn't come, and so we brought his horse. He said, "You think I could ride Boom?" I said, "Absolutely." I called Tristan. He said, "Oh, that would be phenomenal. Joe will do a great job." Joe ended up going out, winning the senior incentive, won the World Cavalry Limited Cavalry title on a horse that he had never stepped a foot on until that night. And so, yeah, I felt like that was really a testament to what we were trying to do, is provide horses that anybody can step on at any time and not only do well, but win. And so that was really exciting to see that happen. And then lastly, down there at the Shelbyville event in 24, just this past September, my son Connor, he had kind of taken a break from shooting, and he's kind of a natural. It's came easy to him, but he'd taken a break for 7 or 8 months, and he decided to go with us. I was thrilled to have him along. He took a horse that had been in the pasture it's his horse, 6-year-old, been in the pasture for a couple months, not really had much riding. He loaded him up, went down there, and I think he finished 3rd out of like 320 on this horse. We were thrilled to see that. Then we had my brother Clint finished 7th on another Travis Court horse, and then Adam Ross, I believe, finished 9th. And so to have 3 in the top 10 down there really meant a lot to us. And the horses did their job, but the riders that were riding them were phenomenal as well. So, but yeah, I feel like I'm kind of bragging on our program.
Please do. Please do. It sounds like you have a very good reason to brag because you are having a lot of success. And it sounds like your mission of having horses that have good minds is really paying off.
I hope so. We always worry that somebody's going to get one and they're not going to get along. we always tell them if that happens, you call us and we'll work something out. We really want to. My grandfather would love the fact that we try to treat people the way they want to be treated, and I think he'd be proud of that. And if there's something that goes wrong, we want to try to make it right. We've had people who have had horses that for whatever reason. We had one that got killed in a tornado that somebody bought this year, and they came back just the other day, as a matter of fact, and we worked out a nice deal that worked for them and for us, just because there were some bad circumstances that happened. But no, it's been a fun past 10 or 15 years, I guess, since we've started the operation.
Now, you mentioned the futurity a lot as you were talking about your successes, and I know that you're on the CMSA Futurity Derby board. How
Sure.
did you get involved in that aspect of mounted shooting?
Sure. I was always, as soon as the fraternity came out, I thought, wow, this is going to be really fun to see these young horses grow up in the sport. And if you've ever taken a young horse and seen it get better and better and better and have a goal in mind, like riding in the futurity in September, it's so exciting to do that. And so I don't know why they asked me to be on the board. I might have been the 10th person they asked, and I was the guy that said yes. I don't know.
I
But
doubt it.
I was sure excited to be a part of it because I had competed in it in the past. My dad had competed in it. My sons have. My brother, except my best friend Wayne Hanson's been competing in it. And it's just to me, it's just getting those horses, into the sport and seeing them get better and then move on to the Derby after the futurity. And it's just been really fun to see the progress in those horses and also to see how excited people are to be there and watch it and compete in it. And I think their viewership for CMSA was really, really good the night of that when we put on that showcase this year. That's been fun too. We're going to make that better for next year. But the futurity is just, and the Derby is just really special to me. And we have a great board now that I'm a part of. We're just very blessed that we've got the board put together that we do. Jared Penley is the president of that board. And he has such a vision for the future for the Derby or the futurity and the Derby, and even moving forward, maybe some older age horses competing in something similar. So it's just been a really fun competition to be a part of.
So I actually didn't know really anything about the futurity. I had heard about it, but I didn't really understand anything about it until I knew that I was going to interview you, and I really started to look into it. And I would imagine that that's probably the same for a lot of other newer shooters. So how would you describe the event to a newer shooter who might not know anything about it?
Sure, sure. So, as I mentioned earlier, it's taking that young horse and preparing them, starting them as a 2-year-old generally, not pushing them real hard as a 2-year-old. We don't in our operation. And then, having your goal be to compete in that futurity. And you can see that progress, like I mentioned. There is a non-pro division as well as an open division, and there's significant amount of money added to each division if that your horse's stallion is in the stallion incentive program. And last year I was in charge of that. Dave Laurie now is taking that over, the stallion incentive program. I'm helping him with it. But that stallion incentive program has 3 levels: gold, silver, and bronze. And we started that a year ago. Those gold stallions that enter, it's a $1,200 annual fee to enter your stallion as a gold stallion. And then we do our very best to promote that stallion throughout the year. Paige McGinnis at the Rundown has really been a driving factor in helping us get those stallions out there to the public, show them what they are. They're in the Rundown every single event. They're at all the majors. We have banners hung up. We promote the social media pages of the stallion owners and try to show the progress of the horses that are nominated in that. So that's been really fun to be a part of that. The silver stallions just get promoted at the event, so we'll have a banner down there and we'll promote them within our booklet that we do. My wife is in charge of the draw party that we have, and we provide a meal, and then we do the draw of what number you're going to go during the futurity and the Derby. And that's been a lot of fun to be a part of that as well. Let's see here. Then I mentioned the silver stallions. Then the bronze stallions, if you just want to be able to run in the added money, then you pay $900 at the event, and then you are eligible to run for that added money. And if you've ever looked at the futurity page or seen some of the posts there, there's some big checks that get paid out as part of that futurity, and it's really fun to see all that hard work pay off, because they put in countless hours into those 4-year-olds to get them where they are. So it's fun to see them walk away with those big checks.
So it can essentially be any 4-year-old horse can enter the futurity. Is that correct?
Yes, it can be any 4-year-old horse, but they have to be registered. We have to be able to see a color paper with a date of birth on it. There's the American Quarter Horse Association. You can, that's, of course, if it's registered there, that's a pretty easy thing to do. Paint Horse Association. We had a mule this year that rode, and it was fun to see that her be a part of that. We even had an individual that was able to go to the Quarter Horse Registry and register his horse to be able to compete. So we just have to have a verification of when they were born, so we know that they're 4-year-olds, and then basically a set of papers on them.
Got it. And then for the Derby, do horses who compete in the Derby, do they have to have competed in the futurity the year before?
Yes, that's the way it's been in the past. We're making some rule changes this year, and we're going to be providing a buy-in fee. So if your horse is a 5-year-old and for whatever reason you weren't able to participate in the futurity, then we're going to offer a buy-in fee that you can now come in and ride in the Derby as a 5 or 6-year-old. So that's going to be really exciting. I think that'll help increase our numbers for the Derby as well.
How exciting. So I'm going to go back to my kind of standard questions that I ask pretty much everyone who comes on here. And my first one is, what's the one shoot that you don't miss each year, and why not?
Yeah, well, I kind of feel bad about this one, but it's the truth. It's our Travis Quarter Horses shoot where we have a futurity and Derby that people take part of. It's so cool to have. I mentioned all the relationships that I've built within this sport, and I call them my best friends. I mean, I've got 170 of my best friends parked in my front yard, my backyard, my brother's yard. I mean, this year we had trailers everywhere, and it was so much fun. I mean, we had a drone fly over and show all these trailers, and just to see the amount of people that come to my ranch in Creston, Iowa, for whatever reason. They're running, and our pin's nothing special. It's just woven wire around it. But we really try to show hospitality to those people. One of my buddy Wayne Hansen provides an ice cream machine and free ice cream in our shop, and we have a group come and provide meals for us, and we just have an absolute ball. It's just so much fun. I hope maybe someday you can come and see us, but. We've had people there from North Carolina. The Lorries came up with their crew this last year, and it's just been so much fun getting to know people and having them there at your place and seeing them relax and just have fun. That's my favorite shoot.
Adding it to my list right now.
I appreciate it. Yeah, first weekend in August. It's right after Vegas. We catch a lot of people coming back from Vegas coming through, and we get people that show up on Wednesday and they'll trail ride on the ranch for a few days. We love having them. We provide people a spot to put their horse or whatever. We've got pens and spots to park trailers. And so, yeah, put it on your list. We'd love to have you and love to show you around the Midwest and show you some Midwest hospitality.
Yeah, for sure. What about your favorite pattern and why? And what tips do you have for running it?
Sure. I'm going to break that into, I'm probably going to cheat here a little bit, but I'm going to give you a couple different patterns because my absolute favorite thing in the world is to shoot the rifle, the lever action rifle. I've got a Winchester 4440, and I'm maybe not always the best at it, but there's just such an adrenaline rush of dropping the reins and just letting that horse go as hard as he can back to the timer and lever that rifle. It's so much fun. So I wrote those patterns down here, and even better shooting that rifle is doing it at a major event. Been fortunate enough to qualify for a showcase a time or two. And man, when that crowd's going crazy and your friends are cheering you on, and you know that you're on the live stream, and it's just one of the best things in life. So when I'm shooting the rifle, I probably like to shoot course 26. It would be one of my favorites. It's kind of like a T with two barrels and running around the first barrel, I think you shoot two one way and then three the other or something like that. And then you round the second barrel and go to the rundown barrel and then come home. That's a fun one because there's a lot of speed involved, and so I enjoy that one. If I'm shooting the pistol, my dad's probably going to kill me when he hears this because as kids, my grandfather was always saying, "Hey, let's race back to the barn," and we'd have to make sure Dad wasn't looking because he didn't like us racing those horses back to the barn. So, but I'm a fan of the horse race thing. Course
Uh-huh.
number 51, the alternating double rundown.
Uh-huh.
It's so much fun to watch those horses, especially the higher levels when they run that. I mean, they've got to be spot on gun change, round the barrel perfectly. It's just so cool to see, a 9 second run on a double rundown, and you think, wow, they shot 10 balloons, changed guns, rounded a barrel in less than 10 seconds. That just gives me chills thinking about that too.
That's one of my favorite ones too. I like the fast, straight up, straight back, no barrel turning, spinning, anything to trip my horse up. I like those
Yes.
straight out, straight back ones.
Nice and easy. Nice and easy. Is that the truth? And then, the funny part about those patterns that are so fast, when people miss, at least when I miss sometimes on those patterns, I'm rushing my shots, and I think,
Mhm.
come on, Jamie, you're going fast. But you still have time to shoot the balloons, so it's still fun.
It sounds like you've had a lot of success this past year, but I'm wondering what the win that you are most proud of is and why.
Yeah, I had to think about this a little bit. I love sometimes to just stand up. I had in my office, my secretary gave me some things to hold my buckles, and sometimes I just like to just stand up. And when I look at one of those buckles, I think about the day that I won that, and the people that were there, and the horse that I was riding, and those buckles mean so much to me. But as I look through that, as preparing to answer this question, probably my favorite, or the one that I'm most proud of, was in 2022. Once again at Shelbyville, was able to go away with the win in the men's 5 division at the Eastern Championship at a major, and the reason I think it means so much to me is I was working so hard with my good friend and trainer, Jenny Decker, for most of that summer. We've been, had a stallion he's a horse of a lifetime, and I still do. He's a horse of a lifetime, Clayton's Blue Train, and I really wanted to be able to showcase him and do it well. And so he was having a little bit of trouble. In fact, Jesse Anderson helped me a little bit the year before when we were at Murfreesboro. We were having a little trouble with him turning and fighting the bit, and just he was just not smooth, running through the patterns. And so we worked. Jenny rode him a bunch, and she gave me a lot of tips, and we changed bits, and we did all the things you do trying to get your horse to turn better and run free. And man, we got him to do it and he's really done well since then too. But at that shoot, everything just came together, and I didn't miss any balloons. And after the shoot, I was so excited. I called Jenny. She wasn't there, but I called her, and once again, tears in my eyes, saying, "Hey, I can't believe we pulled off a win here at this shoot." And then afterwards, I didn't know it until we got to Worlds there, but my wife had purchased a coat from Speedy Tees and had her brand on it, and it's got Clayton's Blue Train, men's 5 champion on the back of it. And I wear that thing all the time. I'm so proud of it. But once again, it goes back to the memories made, as part of that. I don't even know what it paid, to be honest with you. It's just the experience. And still, I think back on that and think about how much fun and the people that I was with.
Yeah, someone mentioned this earlier this week as well. But, when you're going through the struggle of something just not working, it can
Yeah.
be so frustrating. But ultimately, at the end of it, when you get through that struggle and you accomplish something really special, it makes the struggle worthwhile. And sometimes I think it's worth saying that because when you're going through a struggle, it's worth remembering that there's going to be something good on the other side that's going to make it all worth it.
Isn't that the truth? My daughter Maddie, for when she first got into the Cabo Mounted shooting, she kept saying, "Man, my brothers are winning these buckles," and she's competitive like I am. And I kept telling her, "Maddie, you're doing a great job. When that first buckle gets here, it's going to mean so much to you because of all the hard work you put in." And you're going to think all I do is cry in the sport, but watching her get that first buckle, tears in my eyes. Just because I was so proud of all the work that she put in and how hard she had worked with her horse, and you're right. It just means so much more. If it came easy, it wouldn't be any fun. That's what I tell people.
Exactly that.
Yeah,
You've got a lot of experience preparing horses for mounted shooting. So, what advice would you give to a newer shooter who might have a very inexperienced horse?
sure. Well, I always encourage people if they're within 3 or 4 hours of our place, come to our place. We put on practices, and we'll have 30 family members at a practice, So come, but if you can't come to see us, I would do the same thing with someone else. I'd go to where they're shooting, get your horse used to that shooting sound, start really slow. When we start a new horse, we shoot with a broke horse and we shoot away from the horse. We put the green horse on the outside, and we're just talking as we walk around, and we'll just fire a few shots and just get them used to it. And usually they'll jump a little bit, but when they realize that, hey, everybody's calm, there's no reason to be excited or scared. Those horses trust you, and they'll come around. And so if you're a new shooter, I would encourage you to just like I said earlier, the people in the sport are so excited to help new shooters because they love the sport so much, and they want others to love it as much as they do. So that would be my first thing is, just start going to some shoots. And also I'd say jump in. People say, I need to get my horse ready before I go to a shoot. Just go. I mean, everybody's been a new shooter. They don't care if you walk through the pattern or trot through the pattern. Just to see you continue to get better is everyone else's goal as well. And so I'd say just jump in both feet. If you don't have guns, go to a shoot. I guarantee you somebody will loan you guns. If you don't have holsters, chaps, whatever, especially in Iowa. Come to Iowa, someone will make sure, if not me, someone will make sure that you have what you need to be successful.
Some good advice there. So, of course, we've talked a lot about Travis quarter horses and about mounted shooting, but what's a little known fact that people in the mounted shooting community might not know about you?
Sure. And really, nobody in our club knew this either until I became the treasurer of the club. But my first name is actually Bruce, and I'm really proud of that because that was my grandfather's name. Of course, my dad was the second Bruce. I'm the third Bruce. My son Tristan, his name is Tristan Bruce, and now I have a grandson Marshall, Marshall Bruce. And so most people, when they see the reason I mentioned earlier, they didn't know until I was the treasurer is because I had a stamp made that we stamped all the checks with that said Bruce Jamie Travis on it, and everybody was like, "What? I didn't know your name was Bruce." And I said, "Yeah, it sure is." So it's just really cool to have that legacy and try to live up to the standard that my dad and my granddad have set forth ahead of me, and then seeing my son, my grandson, we're excited to get little Marshall. He's 9 months old as of a couple days ago, and we'll have him on the
Oh.
back of the Travis quarter horse hopefully before you know it. So
We just turned into a new year, 2025. What are you looking forward to this year?
yes, so I can't wait till the first shoot. The first shoot I'm going to get to is my uncle puts on a shoot with his auto dealership. It's called the Travis Auto and Truck Shoot, and it's held in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. March 28th, I believe, is the date when it's going to happen. And I just can't wait to get to that and starting again. One thing I mentioned that I picked up my fifth win as a level 5 in April of 2024. And the rest of the year, I didn't pick up any more qualified wins. And my wife is, I love her to death, but she's giving me a hard time saying, are you going to actually win this time? I mean, it's time to move up, to a 6. And so I said, okay, well, my goal is I turned 50 this year, so I can actually go senior in 2026. So my goal is for 2025, I got to do that last move up dance with my wife Megan to be a 6.
You're going to do it. I just know
I
you
hope
are.
so. I hope so. In the meantime, I'm going to have a whole lot of fun with my friends and my family, and it'll be special when it happens. But you know what? It's almost to me. I mean, I can't wait for it to happen, and I would never not allow it to happen for whatever reason. But it's almost sad too because I think this will be my last move up dance and my last time to be a 6. And all good things have to come to an end, and it'll be fun being a 6, but I've had so much fun going through the levels and moving up, and I've never moved back. And I don't know, it's so hard to move up in a level that I've just determined that I'm not going to move back. And so I'm going to be a six someday, and I'll stay a six. So hopefully it happens in 2025.
I will look forward to seeing your post announcing that you moved up.
Well, hopefully it will happen. If it doesn't, then I guess there's 2026.
That's right.
So, yep.
Well, thank you so much, Jamie. It has been such a pleasure talking to you and hearing all about Travis Quarter Horses, hearing all about your work on the CMSA Futurity Board. And I just appreciate the time that you've taken to speak with me.
Well, I would like to say thank you to you too, Chrissy. It's a great thing for the sport.
The pleasure is all mine for sure. I learned so much from Jamie about the Futurity and Derby that I actually made the decision that I'm going to enter my 4-year-old appendix filly in the Futurity this year. She has got a great mind, and she's the horse who always hangs her head over the fence when we're firing rifles that sound like cannons. So I get the feeling that she is going to be a good one, and I'm super excited about it. Just a reminder that there's only a few days of the January challenge left. So remember, if you're doing the challenge, please email me your completed trackers by end of day February 8th to be entered into that draw for the goodie bag. If there are balloon killers you would like to hear interviewed, please email me on balloonkillers@gmail.com. That's balloonkillers, all one word, @gmail.com.